This is Top Accurate Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. The Israeli army has killed 3 Palestinian men during a large-scale raid on a Balata refugee camp in the city of Nablus in the northern occupied West Bank. The Palestinian Health Ministry identified the 3 killed on Monday morning as Mohammed Abu Zaitun, 32, Fatih Abu Rizk, 30, and Abdullah Abu Amdan, 24. At least 7 other Palestinians were injured, including 4 with live ammunition, and dozens of others suffered tear gas inhalation. According to the ministry, Nabil Abu Rudaini, spokesman for the Palestinian Authority PA presidency, described Monday's raid as a massacre. Hundreds of Israeli soldiers and special forces participated in the raid that began at about 1 a.m. local time and continued until 5 a.m. Israeli forces blockaded the camp's entrances with bulldozers and demolished some homes. They also damaged some units, according to residents, who also alleged the use of anti-tank grenades. The Israeli army said in a statement it arrested 3 Palestinian men suspected of involvement in armed activity and confiscated weapons, but did not comment on the killings. It also said it found an explosives laboratory in one of the apartments in the camp. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken signed a defense cooperation agreement with Papua New Guinea on Monday, which he said would expand the Pacific Island nation's capabilities and make it easier for the U.S. military to train with its forces. Blinken was also set to meet with 14 Pacific Island leaders. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi had earlier pledged support for the Pacific Islands at a summit in the capital, Port Moresby. Washington and its allies are seeking to deter Pacific Island nations from forming security ties with China, a rising concern amid tensions over Taiwan. Leaders of the Pacific Islands, whose territories span 40 million square kilometers of ocean, have said rising sea levels caused by climate change are their most pressing security priority. Meeting with PNG Prime Minister James Marape, Blinken said the United States would deepen its partnership across the board with PNG. They discussed economic development, the climate crisis, and the importance of continuing U.S. engagement with the Pacific, the State Department said in a readout. It will expand PNG defense capabilities to enhance humanitarian assistance and disaster response and make it easy for United States and PNG forces to train together, Blinken said. A separate agreement would increase maritime surveillance of PNG's exclusive economic zone through U.S. Coast Guard patrols, protecting its economy from illegal fishing. State-backed Chinese mouthpiece Global Times called the G7 an anti-China workshop on Monday after Beijing summoned Japan's envoy and berated Britain in a fiery response to statement issued at the weekend G7 summit in Hiroshima. A joint communique issued on Saturday singled out China on issues from Taiwan and nuclear arms to economic coercion and human rights abuses, underscoring the wide-ranging tensions between Beijing and a group of rich countries, which includes the United States. Beijing's foreign ministry said it firmly opposed the G7 statement and late Sunday said it had summoned Japan's ambassador to China as part of a pointed protest to the summit host. Russia, a close ally of China that was also called out in the G7 statement over its invasion of Ukraine, said the summit was an incubator for anti-Russian and anti-Chinese hysteria. Separately, China's embassy in Britain urged London to stop slandering China on Sunday after British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said Beijing represents the world's greatest challenge to security and prosperity. The communique, issued by the Group of 7 G7, which also includes Canada, France, Germany, and Italy, mentioned China 20 times, the most in recent years, and up from 14 mentions in 2022. India's Delhi High Court issued a summons to British broadcaster BBC on Monday in a defamation case over its documentary on Prime Minister Narendra Modi that questioned his leadership during the 2002 Gujarat riots, according to reports in Indian media. The defamation suit states the documentary, India, the Modi Question, that aired earlier this year, cast a slur on India's reputation and that of its judiciary and the Prime Minister, the report said. The summons came months after Indian tax officials inspected the BBC's offices in New Delhi and Mumbai in February, following an angry response by the Indian government to the documentary. The media report said the suit was filed by a non-profit organization based in Gujarat, which is Modi's home state. The BBC did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The documentary focused on Modi's leadership as Chief Minister of the western state of Gujarat during riots in 2002, in which at least 1,000 people were killed, most of them Muslims. Activists put the toll at more than twice that number. Modi has denied accusations that he did not do enough to stop the riots, and the Supreme Court ordered investigation found no evidence to prosecute him. A petition seeking a fresh investigation was dismissed by the Supreme Court last year. The government called the documentary, which did not air in India, a biased propaganda piece and blocked sharing of any clips from it on social media. Oil prices slipped on Monday as caution around US debt ceiling talks and concerns about demand recovery in China offset support from lower supplies from Canada and OPEC Plus producers. Brent crude futures fell 73 cents or 0.97% to $74.85 a barrel by 6:34 GMT, while US West Texas Intermediate WTI crude for July delivery, the more actively traded contract, slipped 73 cents or 1.02% to $70.96. The June WTI contract, which expires later on Monday, fell 87 cents to $70.68 a barrel. Last week, both oil benchmarks gained about 2%, their first weekly gain in 5, after wildfires shot in large amounts of crude supply in Alberta, Canada. The impact of voluntary production cuts by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC and its allies, including Russia, known as OPEC Plus, is also being felt after going into effect this month. Analysts from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan said total exports of crude and oil products from the group plunged by 1.7 million barrels per day (BPD) by May 16th. JP Morgan said, adding that Russian oil exports will likely fall by late May. That is the size of top accurate global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy New Week!